Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Welcome to episode 195 of the Go Get That podcast, coming to you on a Wednesday morning, which means, as we've done in the past, it'll be a two-parter, a PGA Championship recap and a CJ Cup Byron Nelson preview all in one episode. Should be a lengthy one, I would think, since we're recapping a major and then previewing a major in the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. But happy to be back with Dan. Bob will be joining us shortly here. And yeah, I guess we can jump right into the PGA Championship recap. A T18 for Jordan Spieth. Probably a result considering the pessimism that we would have signed for at the beginning of the week. And we obviously got a new venue that I think Bob wants to share his thoughts on. I'm sure we'll all share our thoughts on Aronimink as well. But yeah, so interesting PGA Championship. I liked Aronimink, Dan. I thought it was cool. Different in terms of the tuckedness of the pins is something we don't usually get in terms of the extremes they went to there. And then, yeah, our guy, predictable. I think when we're pessimistic, sometimes he does show some of his best stuff. And the T18 wasn't necessarily his best stuff, but I guess when it comes to the driver, it certainly was his best stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a good opening there. I'm glad that we're getting this done, hashing it out. It was a fun week. We'll probably get into that a little bit more once Bob gets here and we start kind of sharing more general thoughts. But I think one of the cooler majors we've had in a while. Played really tough. I know people thought it was going to be, and myself included, thought it was going to be 15 under. But the wind blew. Course was the right level of firm. You had the right level of complaining, I think, from the pros. The course wasn't lost by any means, obviously quite playable, and somebody got hot down the stretch and won a major, and I think that's a reasonable way to do it. There's always a lot of talk about the PGA and its identity, and I sort of wonder if their identity is just maximizing the golf course that they play it on. It seems like they got the most out of Aronimink this week, which is fantastic. Obviously, the weather helped. The wind didn't blow. Still would have been tricky, but certainly made things pretty difficult early. And like I said, we'll get into Aronimink, Aaron Rai, Rory, Rom more as this episode goes on. Tough to ignore the Texan in the room, the Texan in the podcast. So, I mean, where do you want to start? Negatives, positives? I got a little list here that we can kind of roll into of things that I just kind of took away from the week.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you told me before we went live here that you were more prepared than usual, and you're always prepared. So you were shorting yourself, which was ridiculous. It's funny though. Yeah, I think we start with the Texan here. Um, I think I'm gonna pretty much after every event, the rest of the way in, I'm gonna think about how it kind of that week went towards my lost season comment that I made um, a week ago, which was obviously very bold, and it's like I want to be proven wrong. I don't think I was proven wrong this week, that's for sure. Congrats to Jordan on the seventh consecutive PGA Championship losing strokes putting to the field. That can't happen. And I mean, you mentioned negatives. I mean, that was the negative. I think there are quite a few positives with every other club in the bag, but the putter again it's bad. In majors specifically, it's had some good weeks this year, but I mean, he just hit so many putts that weren't good putts. I mean, they were just left short. And I get it. A lot of guys weren't making putts, but the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, he was what, fourth to last among guys that made the cut in putting for the week. That can't happen. I believe if he is, I think I looked, if he's 20th in the field in putting, he's sole second to Rai, which makes sense. I mean, he missed putts left and right, Dan. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the putter. It was really one of the few negatives I actually had from this week. But the putter, I didn't get around to looking up what he was inside of 10 feet. He didn't really make anything of any distance. I'm trying to remember any sort of putt that dropped. Of course, the 40 footer at the last on Sunday, which to be fair was a nice finish. You obviously would rather finish with a putt dropping than not. But and I meant to look up the putting stats inside of 10 feet because I think ultimately that's where you can see the blemishes for the most part. Um, really, really, really just wasn't very good inside of 10 feet. A lot of missed shorties. Didn't look comfortable. Um, some of those putts were tricky. I mean, the downhillers there were glassy. These pins were cut on some weird ridges. I don't think the putter inside of 5 feet is as bad as it looked uh, this week, but certainly was disappointing to let a lot of shots kind of go out the window. Ultimately, probably not catching Aaron Rai on Sunday, even if he's in contention, just with the kind of how things went. But uh, with the ball striking that was present, sort of felt like he should have been in the driver's seat of this golf tournament at the end of Friday. And the putter was the main reason that wasn't the case. Um, and if not Friday, then certainly Thursday. I think he played a really, really good round Thursday and just didn't do a good job of keeping momentum, which is kind of my other negative here is like didn't have much of an ability to score this week. There wasn't a lot of birdies. And then when there was, it seemed like making another birdie before the next bogey was difficult. Part of that's due to the putter, but I think part of that's also just kind of the mental psyche of knowing that, hey, a birdie moves you up pretty far on the leaderboard in a tournament like this, and trying to go get another one would really start to vault you up that board. And it looks like just mentally, we just wasn't able to kind of hold that momentum for very long this week.
No, it's funny you mentioned the scoring. He didn't make a double all week, which definitely would have signed for on a Wednesday night. Obviously, we predicted it would be an easier test than it ended up being, but still, Spieth and majors, the double usually comes out. Didn't this week, 11 birdies to 10 bogeys, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty clean for how
Yeah.
difficult it played. But yeah, you mentioned the momentum, especially on Saturday and Sunday when you're going off that one tee. You get the easier nine, and then you get the harder nine. And if you're making a bogey before you make a birdie on that easier nine, which I think he did Saturday, it's an uphill battle. I'd have to fact check if that's true or not. But I
No,
do remember,
it was a three putt to start Saturday.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, behind the eight ball doing that, which couldn't be done. Yeah, I think going back to kind of my original gist that I had, like lost season, we're through two majors, the three biggest events, if you want to include the players, and the putters showed up at none of them, which is disappointing. I think by lost season, my entire point was, can he win this year? Um, I don't know if this week made me think less that he can, but it's certainly one less event that he's going to be able to play. And the majors, I think I harped on it on my Instagram all week long. It's like it's just such a drought in these championships. And to me, every time I hear Jordan talk, it's like an off putting week at a major. And it's like, dude, it's a half a decade long issue here, and it's just not
Yeah.
getting fixed. I mean, he doesn't putt well at majors. It's like I don't think Team Spieth really understands that. I think you got to look at the stats to really look at it. It's like we chatted, Dan, I think on Friday or Saturday night, like how many majors he'd be contending in if his putter wasn't dead. Um, and it's just really disappointing. But yeah, tee to green was great. If you want to look at the positives, can't harp on the negatives all along. First in the field and strokes gained around the green, which was kind of like I think sometimes when his short game is good, we take it for granted. Welcome in, Bob. We take the short game for granted, I think, when it's like good because it's just like the standard he set for himself. But back in the green on the approach play, and then obviously the driver for the third consecutive week was really good.
You kind of transitioned into the positives there. I will note that you ticked off a few of like the things that I had written down. I think the return of the short game is and was nice. And the key to that though going forward is like, can we maintain this? Like it's one thing for the approach play to falter a little bit and then refine some form. The driver, kind of the same thing. Obviously, the putter is known to be a pretty variable uh kind of in terms of the stats, right? Just how well you putt one week, you change greens, you change grass types, and maybe you just don't make putts the next week. But the short game was really solid. Bunker play was really good. And short game to me feels like something that should travel. So I'm hoping that it was just a lot of really solid work this week on the short game, and it's not something that we have to um really grind over kind of the rest of the season, and just will improve his floor, which kind of leads into one of my next points here is like in general, and maybe we should get Bob in here before I go off the positive deep end. But in general, like this is best finish since the Masters, and his best finish, kind of. I mean, you could argue. I think the Masters has a higher like strokes gain number, but T18 in a 150 person field is argue it's harder to do than a T12 in a 90 person field. So
Yeah.
it certainly
Did you
feels
guys
like we're on
just
track a little bit.
did you guys just start in terms of like you guys are just giving your opening thoughts?
Pretty
Um,
much.
yeah,
We
we're
went
about
through
15
some of
minutes
the
here, so
All right.
negatives and then we
Um,
were transitioning, but
all right, so yeah, I'll give my overall thoughts here. If I have my nitpicky things in terms of the short game, but I'll start at the top of the board, which is the finish. And yeah, I T18 is it's a good it's his I mean it's his best PGA finish besides 2019, I think, in every single one of his attempts to complete the Grand Slam. I'm pretty sure this is second of the 10.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'll start with the positive. I think that as much as it was a really good week at Bethpage, I do think that there was, to an extent, a better chance to win for more of this week than it was at Bethpage. So there's that. That's the positive. Jordan Spieth was firmly in this golf tournament for a lot more holes than we probably expected going into this week, which is nice. I say this, I've been watching this guy for almost 13 years now. I really couldn't give a crap anymore about top tens. I want contention. I'd rather contention for 70 holes and a T50 next to his box. Not that that's like possible, but you know what I'm saying. Than a bunch of T20s. Yeah, I think that the finish is a little bit misleading. He got a very nice break, being able to tee off the amount of hours before the leaders as he did on the weekend, which is a little bit of not necessarily his fault. I mean, he was five back of second place going into the weekend and teed off what 3.5, 4 hours before, just because of how bunch the leaderboard was. So it's not necessarily a discredit to him. A little bit unfortunate how well that actually played into his hands this week. I don't know if there was a player in the field that got to play the golf course as gettable as he did. Um, but yeah, driver was my biggest takeaway in the positive selection this week. The driver looks great. It really does. It had a rough stretch for a few holes on Friday and Saturday, but like he figured it out by the end of the round. Yeah, he hit a bad drive when he felt something early on I think the fourth hole on Sunday, but I mean it looked really good. It looked really technically sound. In terms of the short game, this was a course where it was really tough to chip around. The slopes on the greens, you saw a lot of ping pong, a lot of guys being 10 feet from the hole and then and being in the rough, and then all of a sudden being 50 feet from the hole. So from that perspective, I'm still a little hesitant to give him all his flowers with the short game, because on the PGA Tour, that's not how it is. If you're 40 feet away from the hole in the rough, you have to get that ball up and down. Here, that wasn't necessarily the case, and he gained a lot of shot with a lot of great long bunker shots. Those are much less of what's been the problem in the past than the short bunker shots. A lot of his short bunker shots did not live up to my expectations, but he did make the putt on a good amount of those occasions. So it ended up working out. But overall, could have been worse. But it's still a lot of the same for me, I think. I'm very happy that he had to feel something this week because we say it all the time. You're not going to make any strides in contention if you're not feeling that pressure in weeks leading up to that. But yeah, I think overall it's a pretty average takeaway from the week for me. But I'm interested to see how you guys thought about the golf course because I thought it fit him great, and I think well, we can talk about whether this is going to go down as one of his best chances to win. But if we do get to see this golf course again before his prime's over, that would be nice.
Yeah, I guess that's enough Texan for now. Push him aside. Golf course, yeah. I enjoyed it. I think the PGA of America, Dan and I are kind of talking like the identity. Do you need an identity if you just keep going to really good golf courses? I mean, you throw out Quail Hollow and it's like you get a panel of five people and the majority are going to say, "Oh, we like that place." This week was cool. It was different. I think shout out to Don Ross. I don't know if if the greens are the same as they were when he designed the golf course so many years ago, but they were fun. The PGA of America, shout out to them for the pins that they allowed us to see to kind of see these guys either have to be precise or be 35, 40 feet away. I thought it was enjoyable. I know on this channel, some of us, sometimes Bob can be a little bit of a hater, not a hater, but like dislike the very thick rough. The rough was thick this week, but it was playable. If you were leaving yourself on the right side of the fairway, you typically could chase something up.
Had no problem
Um,
with it this
yeah,
week.
and it was fun. I think Dan, before you got on, Bob kind of alluded to it. We all thought it would play easier. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in myself. It was a par 70 at 7,400 yards. That doesn't typically equate to 15, 16 under like we were thinking. So upset with
You weren't the
myself
only
for
one
that.
though.
No, I was not. Neither in the sports books were the exact same way. But it was fun. I think the PGA of America has done a really solid job of going around the country, at least mostly on the East Coast, the Midwest, and giving us some really good tests if you throw out Quail Hollow, which really just should not be in the rotation with some of the golf courses we've gotten.
I agree. I'll say this on the golf course. I have a problem with long rough around the greens if it makes your next shot less penal, which a lot of places do. I mean, every course has something I don't like about it, but for what I think is the best golf course on the
What about
PGA Tour,
Augusta?
I don't think Augusta has I don't think Augusta has anything like long rough, so it doesn't really matter.
Fair.
Um, but my more point, and I guess my mic is not working, I'm now just realizing, but
You sound good.
my more
Now we're in trouble.
Oh, boy.
got me now.
Yeah, there
Yes.
we go.
All right, yeah. So what my point is, I think Muirfield Village is the best golf course on the PGA Tour, and I think that their biggest lack of greatness is the fact that the long rough around the greens makes worse golf shots less penal. At this golf course, I didn't think that was the case because of how slopey the greens were. I mean, you missed the green 4 yards off the green or 12 yards long in the green. You still can't keep it on the ridge. So I really had no problem with the long rough around the greens this week. If you're gonna have long rough around the greens, then this is the best course for it. Do I overall like runoff areas more? Sure. But this course exemplified how long rough around the greens can be used. And in terms of, I've seen a lot of people kind of nitpick on the fact that it was a putting contest. And I'm sort of a little bit lost in why putting has become such a negative reflection on a good player. I know you guys as statistical people are huge into ball striking, and the best ball strikers in the world are always going to be the better players. But I'll push back on that and say that I understand that putting contests like the Amex are a problem because those greens are flat. But if you made putts this week, you were making 8 foot sliders that were 3 feet outside the hole. Like, why should that be any less of of an impression on your golf game than hitting a wedge shot to 10 feet, in my opinion? I think that being a great putter should be rewarded, um, especially at a golf course like this. Because, yeah, at the CJ Cup next week, it's going to be a putting contest because it's just going to be whoever can read the 6 footers the best way. But Aaron Rai had to make a lot of putts this week from very difficult positions, and the 3 putt avoidance had to be fantastic, which he has not been a great player in that sense over his career. I think that there is absolutely nothing that I feel is wrong about a putting contest if the putts are hard. I think it has a very negative connotation that when golf courses are putting contests, that's a necessarily bad thing. I think that that is okay if the golf course is set up the right way, and I think it was this week.
I think there's different kinds of putting contests, which you
No,
sort of
that's what I'm saying. I completely agree.
like you go
Um,
to AMX, for example, or I mean, we'll see how Ranch looks this week with pretty much all new greens.
the ultimate test.
But this was a other putting contests are like how many kind of flat 10 to 15 footers can you make? And this was a how many 3 putts can you avoid? And these are not easy to get down into. And ultimately, golf's a game of how do you get the ball in the hole the fastest. And each week there's an element of putting that's required, but there's also shots you have to hit it to the right spot of the green to give yourself an easier 2 putt. Um, you go long of pins and you're putting down the hill, you're not really doing yourself any favor in terms of giving yourself a chance in the putting contest, the so-called putting contest. So I thought the course was set up great. You mentioned the long rough around the greens. I think there were a lot of like pretty cool runoff areas too. 8, 10, 12 come to mind. So a good mix, and the right amount of firm. I think balls were chasing in the fairways, greens had some bounce. And it certainly helped that the wind was blowing the first 2 days. I think that kept everybody a little more conservative than that course. Like I think that course could be more aggressively attacked without the wind blowing as hard as it was. Um, Especially with the amount of wedges in guys' hands. But the testament to like second place was 6 under, and you probably, if you hit driver well, you probably have what, 6, 7 wedges in your hand, 7 wedges approach shots, maybe
You
more.
could make a case that on Friday when it was blowing in the favorable direction, you have 7 wedges in the first 7 holes.
Yeah.
Which I think is I think it's completely fair, but I also think I that that seventh hole, if you missed the fescue, I I didn't see many people getting it close with wedges on that seventh hole. Like it was tricky to get it close even with a wedge. And I think it shows what the identity really is of the game right now because I saw a lot of people complaining about the second and 16th fairways. Um, because of how much they slope to the right. And if you hit driver, you basically couldn't hold the fairway. That's part of the golf course design. Like they're basically telling you
hit 4-iron and play this like a regular length golf hole. I don't think that you can, if you have a flat spot before the bunker and everyone tries to take it over the bunker, they can't start complaining about the fact it didn't stay in the fairway.
Fair take. Yeah,
So I found it very hilarious that the people, I understand there was a bunch leaderboard, which is absolutely probably the biggest takeaway negatively against Aronimink, but it did separate the best player at the end of the week. And I just found that a lot of people that were complaining on Friday about the setup were guys like Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry who could not two putt to save their lives all day. So it it's just I find it very hypocritical that no golf course is fair when you guys are the only ones when the guys that are making the mistakes are the only ones complaining.
those are your typical complainers, though, Lowry and
They are,
McIlroy.
absolutely.
We have McIlroy having a fan thrown out on Sunday because he was upset with what they said. Yeah, he's the guy that was proponent of bomb and gouge. This course didn't work. It's funny. I know Bob doesn't like Rory, and I think the more I watch Rory, like if you don't like Bryson, you shouldn't like Rory because they kind of approach the game the same way. I've hit it as far
Same
as
exact. He's the same exact person.
yeah. It's like I think I watched Rory win the Masters this year, and I really lost any love I had for the dude. I mean, he was just hitting it all over the place and getting breaks, which more credit to him. But yeah, I think I certainly wouldn't call it a putting contest this week, at least in the way I think Dan kind of mentioned it. There's different types of putting contest. I think in 2018 when it hosted the BMW, it was probably a putting contest in a bad way. I think the greens probably then weren't. I think they got redid in between the tournaments. I might be wrong on that, but it's certainly emphasized. I think more than just putting this week. Whereas in 18, I mean, it was just a putting contest galore. I mean, you had to hit good iron shots to this iron and wedge shots to certain parts of these greens, or you'd be. I mean, I've what done my Instagram account for since 2018. I believe this week and Oakmont last year. I've never seen like two putts that were tougher just because the amount of slope you had to contend with. I mean, Jordan had putts up ridges all week long, going left to right, right to left. It was super fun, and he handled them pretty good. I mean, we talked about the putter a little bit, Bob, and how drastic it was before you got on. The lag putting in particular wasn't bad. It was the conversion of the second putt, which was a problem, and every other putt that wasn't a lag putt that was the issue this week.
You make a good point as well on the stress to hit it into certain areas. I've never seen, and I found it awesome actually because I've never seen it before. I've never seen anything like the fifth hole on Saturday, where if you were on the right ridge, it was playing to a 2-6, and if you were right of the ridge, it was playing to a 3-4. And that's zero point 0.8 shots, and that is a 20-foot difference in terms of where you're finishing. And yes, obviously, someone right of the ridge could be 70 feet away, but the fact that it just put that much stress on finding the right surface or the right part of the surface, I think it's fantastic. It's unique. You do not get that in the modern golf design. And I found the golf course extremely fun to watch. I don't care what anyone says. I think that the viewing experience is more important than the fairness of the golf course. I mean, these guys make their money because of people like us who watch the tournament. It should be good for us to enjoy it. They are there to entertain for us. And I think that it really doesn't matter. You got to get the ball in the hole at whatever they set up. And if they set up in a way where the viewers enjoy it, that's a success.
Nail on the
to,
head.
to,
Yeah.
to that point, like I think Kyle Porter said this, but like each tournament is supposed to be a test of your game, and majors specifically, there's just a little bit more like emphasis on the test. And sometimes the test is slightly different than what you thought it was going to be. It asks a few different questions than that you didn't, fully prepare for. But that's kind of how it's supposed to go. Like you're not supposed to know what questions are on the test all the time. Your game, the best player is the one who adapts the quickest and whose game is ready to go for what the course presents throughout the week. Ultimately, that was Aaron Rai, which kind of fits into that like JJ Spawn, Wyndham Clark kind of bucket of winner. But I loved it. I think he played 10 perfect holes of golf to win a major. The last 10 holes. Like he did not miss a shot from my um kind of take there. And that to me was
No, and
incredible. I don't think I've seen a finish like that in a long time.
I said it too, and I hate to give Carp his flowers because obviously he's a huge Aaron Rai guy in terms of his model's very,
Yeah, the model.
very favorable to him. But it makes sense. I mean, the guy's swing is made to hold up in big moments. It's just the most technically sound golf swing out there, and he's eliminated at half of the events because of distance. I mean, you give him one tournament where he catches the fairways firm and can take advantage of it, and he's not a dumb dude. He knows that he only has a chance at certain events. And the guy stood up on the 10th tee and hit a terrible second shot and ended up making a 12-footer for par and didn't miss a shot the rest of the day.
Yeah. I was gonna say there was one 10 approach wasn't fantastic, but nobody like you either hit it 30 feet left or
Yeah,
you were down
everyone
the
was
ledge.
missing that green.
10 was incredible.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, splashed the eagle on 9. I believe he made birdie on 11. One of the few to take the lead. Played 12 professionally. 13 was another. Everybody hit it in that front right bunker on Sunday, and nobody got it up that ridge.
No one
except
got
the
even
guy with
close.
the one shot lead. Poured that putt in. Middle of the green on 14, 2 putts. 15 hit just an unreal iron shot after taking 3 wood off the tee. And he was maybe 3 inches away from having it trickle down to like 5 feet. 2 putt there, and then fairway green 2 putt on 16. And then obviously it was cool that the putt went in on 17. I think the people tweeted a little bit like the major was kind of lacking the shot.
A moment.
And that was the shot, the moment, even though it already kind of felt over. But that was just an unreal cap, and then flushed it down 18 the rest of the way too. Like it was just
And
a perfect
yeah, that's another thing. Like when
9
something like
holes.
that happens, especially for someone of his caliber who isn't a proven champion, has only won one time on tour. Like you just like in that moment, it just feels like a snap hook or a flare is coming on 18, and he just puts it right down, like right down Broadway. I mean, it was just
The perfect
it was
perfect call.
perfect.
His emotion or his lack of emotion, um, I don't even want to call it that because that feels like it's too negative. But he was just so
Even keel.
calm, yeah, like locked in, but not in an
His
aggressively like over locked in way. Just like
his upbringing is really cool. The fact that that's how his mindset was developed. I don't know if you, I'm sure Jordan knows this, but Dan, I don't know if you caught this on the broadcast, but um, his dad was telling something about how he'll miss a birdie putt and he'll be grateful that he made a par because of where he came from. Yeah, you can say what you want about iron covers. I think as a professional, it's a bit much, but it's from his grounded upbringing of his dad wouldn't let him scratch his clubs because he couldn't afford new irons. So,
yeah.
I mean, that mindset really did pay off at the end of that because it's very easy to get ahead of yourself in these types of situations. You're
Yeah.
leading by 2 shots on 17T. Those are 2 holes that are very bogeyable if you let off the gas at all. All of a sudden, then Schmid could have won it outright if he had made a birdie coming down the stretch, and he hit just 3 really solid golf shots. And obviously made the putt on 17. And the tournament was lacking a moment. The tournament lacked a lot of putts. I don't think I saw 10 putts go in that mattered all week. I really didn't.
Certainly not from
And
our guy.
and that I was gonna say that's probably because the first 2 days I only watched our guy, but especially on the weekend too, I felt it was like you would have expected someone like a Rom or a Rory to make a few big putts to at least enter, even if they were gonna exit after with a bogey or something, but really just nothing big was happening. There was no big charge. You expected Scheffler to make that charge and he missed that 3-footer and they didn't make a putt the rest of the day. Just yeah, in that sense, you can look at it. Oh, it's a putting contest. Only one guy made a putt. It's stupid, but listen, at the end of the day, there are four parts of this game, and putting is just as much a 25% as tee to green is. It's part of the game. It's the most important part of the game historically. I think the modern game has sort of nerfed it a little bit, where putting is maybe less so as important as it was designed to be by the greats that designed the sport. But uh, the guy answered all the questions. He really did. Very deserving champion. Um, Not a fan of him necessarily in terms of rooting for him. I never really found myself at a point on Sunday where I was rooting for him to win. But you see him holding the trophy, and I'm certainly not disgusted by the result by any means.
Did you guys buy another glove?
No, I did not.
No, staying with one glove. Yeah, I have some quick Rye thoughts, and then we can head into ranch, if you guys are ready to do so. Yeah, excited for Rye. Obviously, a guy that's always been a model darling for me. It's funny too. I don't know where he was in the PGA model, but I assume it wasn't very high. So of all the weeks for him to triumph, it probably wouldn't have been this one I picked. But yeah, I think it's very, really cool. We were talking about Rory a little bit earlier, Bob, and Rory's like, I'm going to bomb and gouge this place to death. And Rye is the exact opposite of that. He's just going to hit it in the fairway and, move on from there. And he had a ton of fairways this week and made some putts, hit some good iron shots, does what he typically does. It's just there's not a lot of players like him, which I think is why my model always loves him. Hits a lot of fairways and is a good iron player. I mean, there's a lot of guys that hit a lot of good iron shots, but a lot of them are just guys that hit it really far and they go, find it from there. And it's kind of cool to have a guy like him win a major. I know Dan picked Sepp Straka and triple double, which didn't work very well, but kind of similar players. I mean, shorter hitters that, can hit really good iron shots. Um, One of them obviously had a lot better week than the other, and Dan picked the wrong one. But it's certainly cool to see a shorter hitter win a major. We really don't see that often these days.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's been feels like the majors, and because it's been a lot of Scheffler, Rory, Xander the past 2 or 3 seasons, which is fine. Like that's good for the sport in a lot of ways, but it's also cool to see Aaron Rai, a guy of his sort of stature on tour, win. Um, Probably the only major he'll ever win. But I mean, I think he's got a pretty good path to making the Ryder Cup team now, right? In a year and a half. So, I mean, that's awesome for like his career. Like that's just a cool win. Deserved it. Kind of rocked the field on the back nine on Sunday. Um, and gets me excited about the US Open. I mean, I these majors have been the Masters wasn't maybe quite what we had hoped in terms of how the golf course would play. I think Aronimink was better than what we had kind of expected, and we'll see what the USGA has in store for Shinnecock. But it seems like we're going to get a lot of people in good form there. John Rahm seems like a guy that if the form can kind of stick, could play well there. Obviously, it wasn't Cam Young's week, but um, yeah, the US Open is going to be a lot of fun, and I think our guy actually could be relevant there. I think I think Mr. Spieth has obviously a lot of work to do, but you drive it like that, that translates to the big boy majors. So um, I did have one or two more thoughts on him before
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
guess we kind of take those thoughts into ranch this week because I think it's fun. But uh, so the back nine was the harder of the nines, and I know that at least Saturday and Sunday the rounds weren't going very well, so maybe the pressure wasn't on, spotlight wasn't on. But he played the back nine pretty well this week. I think it was one under Thursday, um, even on Friday, and then one under Saturday and one under Sunday. That's solid four under on the harder nine of the week. Just really kind of didn't play the front nine very well, which leads me to another kind of one of the more negative points was like just didn't wasn't able to score. Which when you go to a place like Craig Ranch, which a different major and a different test, like you're gonna have to go make 20 to 25 birdies this week. And from what I've seen, a lot of people seem to like Spieth this week. I'm not sure. I think he makes more putts, but I'm not sure that the swing is
Oh,
quite where it needs to be. And we're wet concrete and we're looking at a tee like 29.
well, Dan, I'd hope so. I'd love to see you show me how he makes less putts this week.
Yeah.
It'd be incredible. I will.
But
So what's awesome about this week is they changed the course up quite a bit. So looking at Tourcast, Jordan told me to do it today while I was on lunch, and the greens are more of a challenge this year. We'll
if
see how they actually play, but I think Ranch has finally got the love it deserves. Hopefully the wind blows a little bit, and we should get a proper major here.
um, I'd like to say this about Jordan in terms of putting. Well, first off, I'll mention your first point, Dan. I'm not that worried about Jordan Spieth on hard holes this year. We talk about wet concrete. The guy's the exact opposite as last year. I mean, he makes a mess out of easy holes and plays hard holes fairly well. Whereas last year he would step up to the one handicap and basically you could just write him down for a bogey. Now the guy hits a bad wedge shot in easy hole and can't get it up and down from 25 yards. That's the problem. In terms of the putting. I've been thinking about this for a while since Jordan sent the new greens in chat. I'm very worried. I cannot remember the last time Jordan Spieth has putted well at a golf course that he doesn't know at the greens. I mean, shows up to Colonial last year and putts like shit. When's the last PGA or US Open he's putted well? I mean,
Oh, wow.
when's the last When's the last golf course he's gained strokes or gained a good amount of strokes putting at that he doesn't see every year?
I actually want to answer your question. What's the last US Open or PGA he's putted well? It'd be the 19 PGA at Bethpage. Think about that. That's 7 years. He hasn't putted, I mean, he's putted terribly. It's not surprising, but yeah.
I mean,
Oh my.
I'm just thinking recent times where he showed up to Philly Cricket last year and was a blind man.
Yeah.
What was the course before that? Hasn't really putted well in a Ryder Cup though he hasn't been on many teams besides Quail Hollow, which he sees every year. Um,
Doral
I'm,
was
I'm
okay.
yeah, I guess Doral was okay now that I think about it.
Okay. He was,
Yeah, okay.
he was
Um,
23rd out of 72 guys, which is fine.
but
Not
I'd be
terrible.
shocked if this renovation doesn't hurt him massively. I very much could see any realm of results besides like deep contention. I could see him playing well here this week. I could.
Yeah.
But I just don't see him making enough putts to necessarily win. Um, but I could see him making so little putts to where he's in jeopardy of missing the cut. And I don't know. It sucks because like you get all these T18s at these big tournaments, and you want it to be a like stepping stone. But I'm really struggling right now to see the game as a whole trend. It's been just different parts of the game that have been trending at different points, and that's what gives you hope that any week it could pop. Um, but the one thing that really just doesn't pop anymore is the putter. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to pop with the putter to win on tour, unless you're a Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy. So, I yeah, I mean, he leaves so many putts short. That's the first step. Um, just think about how many more putts he'd make a week if he just got him to the hole.
Tough to deny. Yeah, I mean, I'll push back a little bit. He putted great at the Heritage. The ball striking just didn't show up. Um, it's still the whack-a-mole. Um, but yeah, I guess getting into Ranch, super excited. Dan kind of mentioned it, sent over the Tourcast link, or not the link, but told him to go look at it. These greens look fun. And I guess the good news is the old greens, Jordan didn't really putt here that well prior on these older surfaces. He's played well here. Hasn't been the putter, it's been the ball striking. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how it kind of translates. These greens look fun though. I was kind of putting in chat like the PGA wants to have some fun and go full PGA of America and put some of these pins on some crowns. They could certainly do it because I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of pitch, a lot of slope. I mean, it looks like a completely different golf course. I mean, you even look at a hole like 10, maybe not 10, is it 9? Yeah, 9, par
Par five.
5. The tee shot looks completely different. You kind of have to
Really?
work a draw now. Yeah, they added, it looks like some trees. You have to kind of forces you to hit a draw. They've added a lot of fairway bunkers as well, kind of in the landing areas. That hopefully will make it a bit more of a challenge. And they chopped off like 180 yards. Scotty won at what, 30 under last year?
31.
And it's like they didn't chop off 180 yards because they think someone's going to get the 40 under this year. Like
Yeah.
they did some stuff to try and make it tougher. The green's obviously one thing. Some fairway bunkers they added. If you look at Jordan's fourth round last year, he missed some fairways where there's some now fairway bunkers that he'd be in this year. So I know Dan loves this week. I am probably more than ever excited just to see how these greens play. It looks like it's going to be pretty soft with a lot of rain, but I mean, it was soft at not Philly Cricket. It was soft at Aronimink the first day and a half or so. Makes the golf course play longer. You get some longer clubs in, and if they want to get diabolical with some of the pin locations, they actually can here. So pumped. One more thought before I pass the baton. I actually, Bob, you kind of mentioned not feeling great about this week. Someone asked me, do you feel better about this week or Colonial if he ends up playing there? And I said Colonial as well. I think that place probably fits him a little bit better. But that's not to say he can't play well at both. But I just think, yeah, Colonial is probably the better course fit at the moment.
I think what I'm most excited for is that there's a good article on I think it's the Dallas News. They just kind of detailed what they did to the course. They bulldozed a lot. They redid pretty much all the green. Like it's a different track now. And much as I love Ranch and years past of Ranch, like it needed a makeover. And part of the article that stuck out to me was they were talking about what to do with the greens. And typically, Texas is hot, so you go Bermuda. These are bent. So they can be a little bit slopier. And so the course designer was like, yeah, we're gonna make them slopey. So bent grass greens aren't necessarily something Spieth putts particularly well. Not that he puts them poorly, but it's certainly not the Bermuda that he's used to. So we'll see how that goes. I do think this is actually a decent track. I think it's what helps is it's pretty wide, and I know that the course has changed quite a bit. That's kind of been the whole point of this discussion, but it does it does tell you what shot to hit off the tee sometimes. So you mentioned 9, got to hit a draw. 2, got to hit a fade. 6, got to be a draw. Like there's certain holes that it
It's a good
just
thing.
shows you what to hit, and I think that sometimes I feel like for Spieth especially, I'm sure it's true for a lot of guys, but there's just courses where he just sees the shape off the tee better than other places. I think the driver can be a weapon. Um, going a little bit shorter doesn't hurt. I think it fits into his kind of craft with the driver wedge play approach. I don't think we want to see him hit a lot of 6 irons and above because I just don't think they're that spectacular. Um, the other just sort of thought I had is this is week 4 of presumably 6. Like, at what point does, fatigue kind of start to set in? I imagine he didn't do a ton Monday, Tuesday, and he'll probably take it pretty easy tomorrow. Helps being at home for the next 2 weeks, but it's a lot of golf. And it certainly isn't cool in Texas these days. So, you guys have any thoughts on going 6 weeks in a row here?
It's the price you pay if you want to win. Um,
Yeah.
I think I kind of mentioned it. It's like I don't like Rory, but he's got the balls in the game to only play a certain amount because he knows he can go win them. We can't
Yeah.
do that. I'm sure Jordan wouldn't be playing 6 in a row if he won earlier this year or did something different. I know he doesn't skip Dallas events, but would have been interesting if he lifted the Wanamaker on Sunday. I know Aaron Rai was in the field originally and WD'd this week. Granted, it would have been a home game for Jordan, and I think he played the Heritage after he won the Masters in 15. But like, for instance, if he won earlier this year, is he playing Truist? I
Probably
don't know.
not.
I
Yeah.
don't know. But hey, it's cool for us. I mean, we get to see him play 6 weeks in a row is fun. We enjoyed Doral. I mean, we don't like Quail, but we enjoyed last week. Texas is, well, I think we have different thoughts on Texas. And then we end the, it'd be interesting though. We end the 6th week is Memorial. Like
Yeah.
that's that track in your 6th week in a row.
It's tough.
Yeah, you mentioned the fatigue, Dan. It's like playing that golf course for your 6th week in a row. I mean, who knows? He could get beat up out there. But
He's
go
he's
ahead.
not I mean he's not gonna skip the Schwab, but he's not
I
in
don't.
yet, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. I've gotten like half a dozen questions about that today, and my answer has been, I mean, it's likely, fellas. I think, but I mean, no
You
commitment
never
yet.
know. I wouldn't. You say, what do you think is a better chance for the next 2 weeks? I still think I like this week, just because I'll take my chances. That's harder to hole putts at this golf course, and that the winning score will be a little bit easier to attain than usual. Um, yeah, the winning score at Colonial is usually pretty gettable, but I mean, he could have been that might be why he's choosing to play this week. He may have really just hated that restoration,
Yeah,
because it was not pretty on the greens at Colonial last year, and that was always one of his events where he'd go and he'd just make everything no matter how bad he was putting. So maybe that's the case. If the winning score this week is like 18, 19 under as opposed to 24 under, I like his chances this week over Colonial. I think the driver's in a really good spot, and it does seem like this is going to be a much harder driving course than usual. Um, so I'm excited for this week. Again, I don't see enough putts being made to win, but I do think that this golf course, with the restoration, is going to set up better for him than it has in the past. Because if it was the CJ Cup of old, I mean, he basically have a 0% chance with the amount of putts you need to make to win this week. So I'm holding on to hope that that's not the case. He shot 62 here last year in the final round, of course, but again, I struggle to put as much weight into those final rounds when teeing off in the morning as I think you guys probably do. I really am excited to see this restoration. I have the utmost excitement for what that could look like for Jordan's game. Because again, we haven't seen him play here. Maybe he surprises us. He certainly surprised me last week for a good amount of the week. Just wish putts had gone in, of course, but I'm I'm very excited to see uh how this golf course sets up for Spieth, because Spieth's played well here in the past. And this golf course historically has never really set up well for him, and he's still found a way to have some good weeks. So
it's well said. Yeah, I think you're going to see a couple prominent people in the golf media, whether that be us or someone else, by week's end.
What do you
Giving
consider
Rant,
prominence?
we won't get into that. I know. I mean, you know who I don't think is prominent. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, they'll probably be the ones putting out the article Monday morning, complimenting Lanny Wadkins and his team, because I think you look at Tourcast, it just looks completely different. The greens look fun. It's again a shame it's probably not going to be crazy firm just because of the rain, but there's a lot of slope. Winning score should probably not be. It will not be 30 under. I can guarantee that. And yeah, excited. Most I've been excited for this week. Yeah, I had a thought. I can't remember. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts before we get into triple double, but had something on my mind that I can't remember.
I have two thoughts that aren't Spieth related.
Yeah.
Number one, I think we have, of all the things that have been told, or I should have mentioned this here, both these points I should have mentioned earlier, but I think that we've realized now you can challenge PGA Tour players without lengthening golf courses. Yeah, Aronimink's long on paper, but that was not a long golf course last week.
It didn't play close to the 74 on the weekends.
As an extremely short golf course, and second place was 6 under par. I know it would take a lot of change, and it will take probably 50 years for it to ever be prominent, but I mean, guys, we've been designing new golf courses for the last 60 years to try and destroy the modern game with distance. I mean, just go back to the old style of these greens. I mean, you can test these guys with harder greens. Why are the greens? Why should we have to feed into Rory McIlroy's opinion and make these greens that much easier? So what? That it's the greens that test, guys. I think that's a great thing for the sport, and if it won't, but if golf course design in the future goes down the road of challenging greens, I think that would be the best future for the sport, as opposed to rolling the ball back, because I just think technology will always overpower that, and technology just really can't give you that much of an edge on the greens. It really can't. So that's my first point. My second point is I've been seeing this discourse a bit. I think it would be very interesting to see how we treated Aaron Rai versus Spawn if they had won at the opposite golf courses, because they are very similar players. Obviously, Rai is a little more technically sound, but I think Spawn overall probably has the better ceiling. But they're both not very long players, and they both pop with the putter and can have bad putting weeks as well. I think if Rai had won last year at Oakmont, it would have felt very similar as to when Spawn won. And I think if Spawn had won at Aronimink after that, I think we'd be thinking a lot less of JJ Spawn. But that's just my opinion and what I've sort of figured out.
I think it's fair. I mean, Oakmont's Oakmont. I mean, it's
the venue speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, winning at Oakmont versus winning at Aronimink is certainly one over the other. But yeah, it's funny. Shout out to Blake. I assume he's watching because he doesn't have much else to do. He completely crapped on Aaron Rai after he won. He's like, this guy's never going to win again. Just like an event in general. And it's possible he might not. And I'm like, I asked him, did you think the same thing about JJ Spawn? And he's like, no, because Spawn's actually a good player. And I just laughed at him. Like, you're right. Like, they're very, very similar players. I mean,
you can absolutely make the case that if Aaron Rai played the exact golf he did this week with how big he dominated the field, he absolutely could have won that tournament at Oakmont.
Yeah, it was a sham of a comment from Blake. I mean, Spawn's got a
sham
US
of
Open.
A guy, but
yeah, I mean, Spawn's got a US Open and two tour wins, and Rai's got the PGA, a tour win, and 3 European tour wins. Like, they're very, very similar. And Rai's 4 years younger. So there's certainly a chance Rai ends up winning more in his career than Spawn does.
And this was much more
good.
This was much more US Open venue than Erin Hills was.
Oh yeah. No, it's not even close.
And you could even argue Pebble.
Yeah. No.
But that's a very personal take that I have, but
we agree on that take.
I know that pisses off a lot of the a lot of the people.
I think we're going back to Pebble next year as well.
Oh yeah,
Sad.
I'm gonna try. I want to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going. It's just of the U.S. Open venues.
Yeah, just the history of it all, but
That's fair.
it's similar to St. Andrews to me, except Pebble has an event every year.
True. I think that's well said.
So it's tough. I don't think PGA Tour venues belong in majors. But
No.
it is
Agreed.
what it is.
Dan, you have anything else or triple double time?
Nothing else on the Mink or Rye or Spawn. Good players. They'll win again.
Spieth win again.
Find out on triple double picks.
I guess so. That's a good transition. I will not be using Spieth this week. I feel pretty good that the three guys I'm going to use. I'm first this week, which is
My
nice.
third.
You are
Yeah.
third, yes. Oh my God, I've used my top guy twice. I was going to use Zayden out. Okay, well that sucks. Model Spieth. Guesses.
This sucks because this field's not good.
No, it's
12?
not.
And
12?
I wanted to say 12 too, but if he's not inside the top 10, that's pretty disappointing.
I mean, guys, you're underrating how many losers from this field.
Don't tell me he's top 5.
Go eighth.
I'm telling you, he's top 5. He's fourth. Who's it? Look at this field. Like his featured group is Sungjae and Chris Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah, Sungjae, Kirk, and Spieth is marquee the first few days. Like
Sungjae feels like a guy who would win this week.
I will
He
say,
could.
I think they put the best 3 players in the field in the same group.
Ouch. Come on with that.
Scheffler, Siwoo, and Koepka.
I mean, I get the Koepka love, but it's like we think Spieth can putt. I'm sure Koepka can figure it out quicker than Spieth can, but
That's for sure. Yes.
Brooks was also T55 last week. Like he didn't play well.
No. I
think you're underestimating how bad. He putted just as bad as Spieth did.
He was not as bad statistically. I get your point, but he played well on Thursday too. He shot the same score as Jordan, and Jordan held it more together than Brooks did, which is surprising.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. I think that was part of my back 9 thing was like Saturday and Friday, the rounds could have just gotten away from him pretty quickly. And like Friday, he had an eagle putt on 16 to get it back to 1 over, and then gave himself 10 feet on 18 to, get it back to 1 over. Missed them both.
Great putts.
Saturday wasn't going anywhere and scrapped it back to even. Like that stuff, I know it's dumb, but it does matter. Like ultimately Jordan's declared the season lost because he doesn't think he's gonna win, but man, like get to the BMW, please. Like I'm tired of all of these freaking sponsor exemptions into these stupid signature events. Like let's go be a competent golfer. And congrats on getting into the US Open. It's his highest OWGR rank in almost a year, by the way, which is kind of wild that we've been on this roller coaster of just not very good. Anyway, sorry for my tangent there, but
no, it's fair. I mean, I think I know what I'm doing in triple double. It'll be interesting some of the names we're going to use this week.
Yeah.
So I assume no one's going Scotty. Unless they won $1 million,
you can't be any worse than my Scotty performance from last week.
That's true. I still have 2 Scotties.
Scotty. Yeah, well, that one hurt. But I did greatly appreciate Justin Thomas's charge at the end.
Rust, yeah.
Kept me in the lead, but I really needed my Scotties to be good, and now it's basically it's up in the air now. I mean, Dan's gonna have to do some work with not having any Scotties left, but
I ejected. I need 2 more Scotties to get back into it. And I just don't have them anymore. So I'm gonna have to pivot. Morikawa was tough, because he'd played well in all the big events this year, even with the back. Uh, and then Straka and Spawn were just.
You got 4,300
I
for
mean,
him.
Rahm making $1 million more while finishing one shot ahead of Thomas is also the biggest bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, it was fair. You can fact check me. It was what, a two-way T2, and Thomas was tied with like
There's
what,
only 4 ways.
3 guys T4. You can
Yeah,
fact check me. I looked. I did the numbers.
No, I believe you. I just think that the payouts are
that is kind of funny.
they're ridiculous.
PGA payouts are weak. I think the winner only got 3.6. I think
3.9 or yeah,
3.8,
yeah, oh yeah, 3.69, yeah.
lower than a
Wow.
signature event. Ouch. PGA of America's got to step it up. But anywho, excited to see these names. So I'm leading off, and I don't really care. We're going to lead off with Kevin Roy. Kevin Roy.
Kevin Roy.
Kevin Roy.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome to the Byron Nelson. Kevin Roy.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, this field stinks. He played well at Myrtle Beach.
Kevin
We're
Roy.
going Kevin Roy.
He's 150 to 1 on Data Golf
I mean,
in this field.
he's everything you're looking for. He T3 at Myrtle Beach. Got four
Yeah,
green
no,
boxes on the air.
I'm sure Kevin Roy will shoot 63 on Thursday now that I've laughed. But this odds board on Data Golf is hilarious. It's Scheffler, like I think Scheffler's going for plus 150 and Data Golf has him as plus 215. So it's actually not even that egregious. The next is Siwoo at 15, and then it's the Texan at 24.
Talk about bad bets.
And then it's kept, there's only 5 dudes inside of 50 to 1.
Yeah, now you've seen my point. Take these. I assume one of you guys are going to use
Just laughing. I didn't even know Kevin Roy was in the field. Just like
barely knew who Kevin Roy was.
I
Did I tell you that Spieth's fourth in the model? I don't know
Yeah.
if I said that.
yes.
All right,
Who's
fourth,
third?
yeah. The guy I was going to use Bezaden out. So if any of you guys want him,
Really?
yeah,
Bob gonna take Bezaden out?
he wants.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you.
I just wanted to make sure that this stat, because I saw it said in chat that he was first tee to green last week. He actually ended up being second, but it really hurt me also seeing that Spieth was third. I didn't realize it was that good. I mean, I knew it was good, but I didn't realize he beat the field that bad tee to green. But I'll be going with the second place finisher tee to green last week. Newly free man, Patriot, Jonathan Vegas.
Vegas.
Plays
Great
great
pick.
in the state of Texas. A home game for him as well. Could be the best Longhorn in the field this week with the way he's been hitting the ball. So, yeah,
You
feeling
used
good
John
about that.
Vegas yet?
Have I?
I don't know. I'm looking.
I don't think so.
You don't have it? No. Well, it's nice that you have another one for the rest of the year as well,
I'll go Bezaden out then.
then. He's winning this week.
I'll go Bezaden out and Jaeger.
Oh,
Good
wow.
pick.
Stallions.
I was gonna go Jaeger.
Jaeger's a Texas player.
Stallions.
He beats Scheffler in Houston. He beats Scheffler in Dallas with Spieth 4 behind and third. That's my prediction this week.
Stallions. Bezaden out and who'd you say again?
Jaeger.
Oh,
Stefan Jaeger.
the German. Yeah, I was hoping. I mean, I
Yeah,
mentioned
come
in
on.
chat when the PGA was going on, it could have been Schmid last week, Jaeger this week, and Marcel Siem at the Open for the Germans. That would have been cool. It's back to me, right?
Or no, I think it's me.
Did Bob pick a second?
No,
Um,
hopefully not.
I will go. Do I want to go? This guy probably not. I'll go Matt Schmid.
Ooh, the Germans.
It was between the two of them. I mean, they were both like, I think Jaeger was I mean, obviously Schmid was deep in contention. Jaeger was relevant on Friday.
Jaeger had 28 or 29 straight pars at one point this week.
That's chills.
Yeah.
That'll play around Ranch.
And then and then he went like birdie, bogey, 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 birdie, birdie, bogey. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thanks for that being your second Schmid use.
Really?
He was
Goodbye to
on Schmid
Schmid.
early.
At the Valspar. Nice $35,000. So it comes back to me now, I think. Yeah, I get two in a row. Okay, well, we will go the hometown Texan Bo Hostler.
I'm like, Bo,
Yeah,
hook him.
Bo. Steve teammate, great player. Third one, I don't even know who the heck I'm gonna go with. Shame I couldn't get the Zayden out. Do we go Cooch? I said, do we go Cooch? I mean,
What
I
about
don't think I
Pavon?
go Cooch. No, not Mathieu. Let me just make sure this guy's played decent. I think the scratch gamblers have been on this guy at some point.
Who?
I'm just checking to see if he's been, oh God, he's went cut T54, T28. Vince Whaley.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Um,
Not recently.
this field's so bad, fellas. Yeah, I think I'm
There's
just
so
gonna,
many guys with infinite odds this week.
yeah.
You know it's bad field when Ryan Palmer's in it in 2026.
We'll go Whaley. Why not? He's a good putter. There's really no slam dunk picks this week.
Holy shit. Aaron
The
Rai.
Schwab will be so much easier. I know that.
What game did you just say, Dan?
Said Aaron Wise, Chuck Hoffman.
I mean,
This week?
Aaron Wise, didn't he go into like mental rehab for like 2 years?
Bob Streb's in the field.
Is he really? I
Yes.
didn't realize Cam Davis was playing so bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen his name in a while. He's always someone when he's playing well who's like on leaderboards.
Danny Walker's in the field.
Blades Brown in the field.
10-year anniversary of Jim Walker this past weekend.
You were
Well, I
rooting
guess
hard
not.
for him.
Or I guess not because it was in August, but
Cam Champ.
Oh, yeah, he was a late
he
ad, I
doesn't have a
believe.
tour card either.
Surprised he's not featured.
Yeah, to be honest. He's gotten a lot of
my
featured groups
goodness.
in his day.
Could Mr. Higo be a play for the Blue Camp?
Can you get to the
I'm
tee
going
on time?
Siwoo Kim.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. That's it's a different
Power move
quality
right
of
there.
player.
Very different quality of player. I took two people with high high ceilings, but also terribly low floors, and I need to make sure I get some money on the board. And I don't really see another time where I'm going to use Siwoo, even though he's a good player. So
You haven't used him yet.
yeah.
That's a good pick actually. For you. The prudent play.
Struggling.
Gosh darn it.
What does the winner get this week?
Like 1.5.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
Two.
I think it's like 1.8.
It's not bad.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think the prudent play. Do I take the prudent play
There's no prudent play, Dan.
or do I just say fuck it, we ball?
The prudent play is spinning a wheel and just picking
Yeah.
a random name.
The prudent play, we're going Blades Brown. Why
Oh,
not?
okay.
That's not the prudent play. That is my play.
I think it's a fine
Um,
play.
I do too.
Why
He's a
not?
good player.
I think the prudent play would be Davis Thompson.
Yeah, it was a Siwoo or Thompson for me.
I was shocked
And
no
then
one went Cootie.
and then the other play I think that's I just decided not to because I don't like him, but Tom Kim played pretty well last week.
Really, he's been off the
He
face of
played
the earth.
last week.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Or sorry, 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
I think he was in some sort of qualifier too.
Is he in jeopardy of losing his tour card?
He's in the U.S. Open. Yeah, he got in via final qualifying for the U.S. Open. That's a good question, Bob. I can look that up real quickly. I would think so. I'd be shocked if he wasn't in jeopardy. Kind of hard to keep your card. Like, I know we kind of take it for granted, but it's like some of these other fellas make it hard. Where is it? Oh, am I gonna find it or not? Probably not. Through 2026. So yes, he is certainly not in for next year, I don't think. I don't know what the qualification is that he needs to get, but
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll
he's
be in PGA Tour fall.
correct, yeah. I mean, Spieth might only be through 2026, honestly. I mean, he's obviously a lock for next year, but I don't know what the criteria is to keep your card on a year-to-year basis. I would think Spieth's only exempt through this year, although he would obviously be fine. Yeah, Spieth has his card this year because he was top 70 in the FedEx Cup standings last year, which is
Incredible.
interesting. Yeah, congrats to Jordan on the top 70. So I assume at a minimum we will be riding that out till in the next year as well. Scheffler is exempt through 2031, which he doesn't get the lifetime exemption yet, does he? I forgot.
You need
I
20.
think it's 20 wins. Gotta be
Okay.
close. What's he at?
PGA
18?
Tour says he's at 20.
Oh, but
But
that
it
probably
doesn't-
includes the hero.
Good point. That's a good point. But
Does that
regardless,
not count as a PGA Tour win?
Yeah, it better not.
I mean, it counts as an official world golf ranking win.
it's a sham in itself. I had one more thing before we close up shop, fellas. I was looking at we are getting close to the playoffs here, not for triple double, but just the FedEx
Playoffs.
Cup playoffs. And Data Golf does a model for the FedEx Cup. And Jordan is currently 41st in the FedEx Cup standings. Any guess of the odds that Data Golf is giving him to finish top 30 and get the East Lake?
23%.
Do you care, Bob, or do you want me to just tell you?
I think.
It's interesting. I'll tell you
What's
that.
he at right now?
He's 41st.
35%?
That's a great guess. 33 and a half. And you mentioned the consistent T18s, Bob, earlier. They don't really help on a FedEx Cup basis. Like they're adding up slowly here, but at only 33.5%, that kind of tells you to get top 30, you really need a high end finish.
You do.
It's probably a good place to end this episode too, because it would really be nice if Jordan could at least I know, but we do this channel for wins, but it would be nice to get back to East Lake, and I would happily take
will
a T4 this week to get some points.
I completely agree. This is no, you're right. I completely agree with that. And at the same time the winner may not make a lot of money and it may not be a high-end event, but second place here counts the same as second place at Colonial or anything that's not a signature event. So
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be a nice FedEx Cup boost.
that second place
PPR
last
boost, all
year
that
here
stuff.
probably was single-handedly a big factor in him being top 70 and being exempt.
Yes. And Dan, you mentioned the Beamer earlier. They're giving him a 74% chance to return to the Beamer. So
And also,
Well,
I do have confirmation. It is a lifetime exemption for Scotty Scheffler.
okay.
The
Okay.
Sony or the Hero does count.
Gotcha. Good to see
Wow.
the tour didn't update his
Good.
thing. Shouldn't expect much from them. But
Yes. Phil Reed made an article about it after his Amex win.
thank you for P. Reed, the other
He
P.
played
Reed.
well till Sunday.
Yes, certainly a
He
player
needs
that'll
to
get a lot
start
of
figuring it
support.
out on Sundays, sadly.
He'll be live at
Even-
the Cock.
Yeah, no, he will get a lot of fanfare at Shinnecock. For sure.
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, no, lengthy episode, 2-1. Good to be back again for week 4 of what's looking like 6. And yeah, I mean, highest in my model this week. I think Bob even said it too. This might be our best chance to win the event so far this year. I know Scotty's in the field, but just the lack of
Agree.
quality, it's like it should be hopefully that highest finish of the year at a minimum.
Yeah. It's time. It's time for a top 10. This would be anything below a top 10. It's pretty disappointing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'll just
I'm
Bluntly.
optimistic at his chances in terms of finishing well.
yeah, no, that's well said.
He's
But
hitting the ball too well.
no,
yeah,
I agree.
hopefully it
Especially you got back.
translates.
Yeah, back in
Oh,
the saddle.
we're
with
back
the-
in Texas, which means a lot of lengthy sessions with the instructor. So
Not sure how many should we need. Well, on the putters, millions that are needed, but yeah, tee to green.
they probably didn't work on the greens.
Yeah. He hasn't hit a putt yet this week, actually.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah,
Doesn't
They're
want to
completely different.
ruin his speed control when he gets to the new course.
Right,
Correct.
exactly.
Plus, it's going to
The
rain.
other-
They're going to get slower.
The other thought too, like 6 weeks, that's a lot on the right knee of Greller. I think
Thing
that's
shattered.
something to
It's something to
monitor.
look for. He looked like he was struggling.
Yeah, I mean a knee brace playing 6 weeks for T14s is not ideal, but we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. I think that's all we got. Thanks for listening as always, and we will. Who knows? Maybe that Sunday live finally comes to fruition this week. Decent shot, it seems like. But
One of these times.
no,
Damn
it's
it.
gonna. It's happening. It's happening. But we shall see. Until next time.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Take care.